Alright, we made it to the Dolomites. We're going hut to hut hiking on the AB1. I'm here with my two besties partners and Dylan. And we're doing 4 nights in the Refugios. We're starting at Lago de Bryas, doing half of the AB1, and we're taking you guys along with. Getting to the Dolomites takes some work. You have to fly into Venice, drive 2 hours, and then once you're there, you got to drop off your car if you have one. We dropped it off at the Villa Bassa train station for free parking for the week, and then took the bus all the way to Lago de Bryas. If you go during peak season, you have to get a reservation. Guys, how we feeling? Woo! We made it to Lago de Bryas. What up, gang? Made it to Lago de Bryas, and we're gonna start the hike once we find the trail.
I'm excited for it to thin out a little bit.
Me too. It's crowded right now.
We also started at like
3, 2, 1. We couldn't resist the temptation of the cool water on a really hot day before we headed out on our trek. We had 3.5 miles to go from here and about 3,000 feet to get to our first hut of the trip. We're going that way.
we're going up.
Very steep. How's everyone doing? A little tired?
Very tired.
Like a mile and a half in. 2.5 to go.
I do. That was like a proper deli that Kevin went into.
Less than 2 miles in and already stopping for some energy. Steep climb. As we gain 4,000 feet in 4 miles. We found a bench. And
Day 3.
you go over here. You take the cables up the stairs and up. My friends and I had decided to do just half of the Alta Via one, which means we only had 4 nights to enjoy the stunning views, but we heard that the first half of the Alta Via one is some of the most stunning scenery, and already by day 1, we could see why they say that. We all took our shoes off for a nice little frolic. There's our hut. We made it. This is sick. Look at this. The first day was already astounding, and we were so happy to be doing it. We booked all of these huts back in December and January, and some of them were already sold out. So if you want to do this, you need to plan early. Once we got to our hut, which was Rifugio Biella, we got some food and drinks, which you can do at various huts along the way. If you pass them, you don't have to be staying there. Luckily for us, the rain started while we were at lunch, but rain is super common in the Dolomites, so watch out for the weather. Once the rain had gone through, it was time to check into the hut. We were able to put our trekking poles outside, and then we all had to take our hiking boots off and put them in a hiking boot room. This is very common for most refugios. You have to wear slippers or Birkenstocks inside the huts. That hiking boot room really smelled, so I understand why they do that. We had booked a 6-room bunk bed situation, which is what most of the huts have. And these come with half board, which means you get dinner and breakfast included. We had to pay half of the money in a deposit, and then we had to pay the rest in cash when we got there. We also had to use sleeping bag liners, and at this particular hut, they made you buy disposable ones, but we all brought our own. Look at our cute little slumber party. Hi, Dylan.
The pouch is for the air.
Luckily, most of us got good sleep because we brought earplugs and eye masks, but it was time to start day 2 of our trek. Out here, we are getting ready to go day 2. We have 8 miles and 2,000 feet of elevation, so longer but shorter elevation. And night 1 in the Rifugio was great, super fun to experience, great food, and excited for day 2. Also, you can get picnic lunch from your Rifugio, and so we chose to do that, even though we'll probably stop at a couple huts today along the way. But it came with a sandwich, an orange, a bar, and a water. So we're good to go for today.
We're off on day 2. Yeah. Who's pumped?
Because this is a hut-to-hut hike, you don't have to carry everything like you do in backpacking. You don't need a sleeping bag, a pillow, you don't need all of the food that you're going to eat, and you don't need a stove or a jet boil. So luckily, a lot of us got to bring smaller packs with just one extra hiking outfit, rain jacket, water, first aid kit, and all of the essentials like tons of sunscreen, of course. Day 2 was super beautiful. There were wildflowers everywhere, and we were absolutely astounded at the meadow views. We kept seeing cows along the way and gorgeous mountains, and we were so amazed at the stunning scenery. Our first stop on day 2 was Rifugio, which was perched in this immaculate meadow with tons of wildflowers and expansive views. We ended up just getting a coffee here, but we also used their nice restrooms, which was the perfect way to have a little bit of a break before continuing on this gorgeous day. A lot of the first part of the hike was relatively flat, which was a nice little reprieve from the day before, but we knew eventually we were going to have to go steep downhill and then do another large ascent at the end of the day. So we were truly enjoying this part. We took a quick break before we had to descend 2,000 feet. Luckily for us, there was a refugio at the very bottom of the valley. It was called Rifugio Peru, and it's one that you can get to in a day. You can drive there, so there were lots of kids and families around, and we stopped for a little bite to eat before continuing, and this time our hike was going to be directly uphill. Also, a couple of my friends have some knee injuries and have other things that were already ailing them on the hike, so we took things at everyone's own pace. If you wanted to walk faster, you could. If you wanted to walk a little slower, you could. We made sure that everyone was with someone the whole time so that we had a couple different groups going up the mountain. It felt like it was going to rain on us this whole afternoon. The sky kept thundering and there was dark clouds everywhere, but luckily for us, it never opened up and we just kept walking and walking until eventually we got to a beautiful meadow right below our first hut.
Ice cold. Ah! It's so cold, dude. I can't like submerge too much.
Our second hut of the trek was called Rifugio Faunas, and it was a great hut. I think that it's very popular for the ski season and the hiking season. They have a lot of bedrooms, so it wasn't as hard to get a bed in this hut, and we ended up getting 2 private rooms as well as 2 bunk beds for our group. Dill and I got to have our own private room, which felt like the lap of luxury on this trek. We just showered in our little private room.
It's real nice.
Real nice. I feel like a new person.
Honestly bougie.
It is bougie. The one theme of the trip is having a lot of downtime. Yes, you spend a lot of hours hiking, but once you get to the huts, there's really not much that you have to do besides chill, enjoy dinner, get a drink, relax. So my friends and I, we all played a ton of card games. All of us are pretty competitive, and we went between a couple of them, but it was a great way to hang out, spend time, and pass the time as well. The food at Rifugio Faunas was really delicious. We all got to choose a first course, a second course, and a dessert here, and I think that this was probably the best hut in terms of food during the entire trek.
Love that.
Like there was a big dipper and it was a Milky Way. It's like it just smells like childhood.
Okay, day 3. I'm full. We are Ready.
No survivors.
No prisoners.
My shoulder a little bit. So sore.
But the overall plan is to hike 7, almost 8 miles to lunch, and then 3 more miles to our Rifugio, and we're going to take a cable car down in between so we don't have to go downhill, but we're gaining 5,000 feet of elevation today. It's going to be interesting. Something else to know is that the Alta Via one has tons of signs throughout it, so as long as you follow the signs, you're pretty much going to find your next hut or what you need to do. We had downloaded all of our maps beforehand so that we knew we would never get lost along the way. Again, day 3 turned out to start immaculately, but then things took a turn later in the day. We had a couple steep pushes that day, so we made sure that we all had a lot of electrolytes, snacks, and fuel to keep us going, because otherwise I'm not sure we would have made it through. One thing I loved about doing the Alta Via one was that we saw so many wild landscapes that I don't think you get to see from just doing day hikes into the Dolomites. It really felt like we got off the beaten path, and everywhere we looked was absolutely astounding. I just couldn't believe the things we were seeing. Now, at the very top of this trek, we had to go all the way down and then all the way back up. You can see the hut on the next mountain. This was a challenging day. We made it up. First really steep uphill, back down to the lake, and then we just have to go really steep uphill to lunch. But we're crushing it, and it's gorgeous. There's like a little sprinkle, but it's perfect feeling right now. Although that's thunder just now. Yikes. It kept thundering, so we knew we had to push through this last bit of the trek before lunch. At the very top, we were going to get to Paso Falzarego, where the Rifugio Lagazoi sits. It's an iconic Rifugio that many people take the cable car and stop at because along the way, they have World War I tunnels. These tunnels are really cool. You can walk in them, explore, and learn more about the history of the area. It started raining on us at the very end of the push to Lagazoi, and we know we only had a little bit further. Ari pushed ahead so that she could get us a table, and luckily we were able to ride out some of the storm while eating delicious food in Lagazoi. We thought we had ridden out the worst of the storm, but as soon as we got out of the restaurant, you could tell that the sky was darkening and things were getting worse and worse. Well, unfortunately for us, it began to thunder and hail. It's hailing! Fighting from the The hail was relentless and it was freezing cold. We were all huddled under the cable car hut because we were waiting to take the cable car down the mountain. We decided to get some hot chocolate to try and warm up, and eventually we learned that you could slip into the hut and there was plenty of room to escape the hail and be warm inside. So we all did that, and it took us about an hour, 40 minutes to ride out the storm. Also, while we were in there, we ended up seeing a mountain rescue with a helicopter. We're not sure what happened, but we hope that everyone is okay and that they got down the mountain safely. Finally, the rain started to let up and we all got to go on a cable car. We only had to wait for one before it was our turn. We packed in and we headed down the mountain to save our knees for the hike.
Made it out of the thunderstorm. And the helicopter rescue is above us. We made it down from the cable car and we called our Rifugio and they're saving dinner for us. So don't worry, we're gonna make it.
We had about 3 miles left to go and probably a little bit under 2,000 feet of elevation. So this was truly the last push before we were making it to our hut. The skies were still dark and ominous, but this ended up being one of our favorite parts of the entire trek.
Up the chute we go.
We made it up, almost, not all the way.
The craziest shoot.
That
It
was-
was so much fun.
It was like rock climbing.
And now we're doing that.
Yay! There.
After we were walking, it was truly crazy to see how much hail had dropped in the last 2 hours. It kind of looked like snow along the way. We passed by Rifugio Averau before doing the final ascent to Nuvolau, and it did feel kind of ominous as the wind was whipping back and forth, and we climbed and climbed to the very top of the mountain.
We made it. This is absolutely insane. Actually, Dylan is somewhere with Marissa and Kevin, but Ari, Ben, and I have made it, and hopefully they'll be up soon. But I cannot believe where we are. Like, you just gotta look at this Rifugio.
Rifugio Nuvolau is one of the oldest and highest huts in the entire Dolomites region. We got so lucky to get these reservations because it's a pretty small hut. And I'm not kidding you, there were 360-degree views all around us. We just stood outside taking them all in for hours at a time. We could not believe where we were. Of course, after a very long day of trekking, we all deserved a drink and some food to congratulate ourselves on a job well done. This was our hardest and really one of the last pushes we had because the rest of our hike was going to be downhill the next day. We felt also so lucky to stay at the Nuvolau because it had some of the best sunrise views and sunset views in the area. There were a bunch of people who had even hiked up from Rifugio Averau just to enjoy the sunrise here, and we simply had to climb out of bed and walk outside to take it all in.
Last day of hiking, we just woke up in the most epic place. Watch the sunrise, and now we're heading down. How's everyone feeling? Good. Sorry.
Our last day of the trek was going to be our easiest day because it was all downhill from here. We had 3.5 miles to go, and we stopped at Cinque Torre, which is an iconic rock formation in the Dolomites that's home to another open-air museum for the World War I tunnels. You can see trenches, barracks, forts, and there are a bunch of different plaques to learn about the history of what happened during World War I in this area. It was really cool to explore, and I highly recommend you stop here, even if you just take the cable car down from below. One of my favorite parts about the Alta Via one is you can choose to do things your way. You can go to different huts, you can choose different routes, and of course, if you're ever feeling like you're hurting, you can also take cable cars. So on our way down from Cinque Torre, 2 people decided to take the cable cars because their knees were really hurting and the downhills were hard, and the rest of us went on a hike, and eventually we met up at the base of the mountain to do the rest of the trek to our very last hut. The last hut we stayed at was Rifugio Col Galena, which is very close to the road, so we ended up walking to a restaurant because our hut was not open for check-in when we arrived, and we got some delicious food and played cards. On our last night, we were sharing this bunk room with 2 other people, and so we were excited to see if we would make any friends along the way. But we spent our last day hanging out, playing cards, and of course, enjoying the view. It was a perfect way to end our Alta Via hut-to-hut hike. And on our last morning, we decided to get a private car back to pick up our cars at the train station because it was only a couple dollars more per person to do that than to take the 2 buses and a train that we would have to take otherwise.
We did it. We made it back from our trek, right, Dale? Mm-hmm. It was so fun. It was amazing. It was incredible. And now we're going to a spa hotel to relax for a couple days with the friends. But that's it for now. I'll see you guys later.
I hope you guys enjoyed following along on our Alta Via 1 shortened hut-to-hut hike, and make sure you like and subscribe so that you can follow along on all of our adventures in Italy, other countries, and of course, the United States. We'll see you next time.